Good evening and welcome to the OmniDog and OmniCat comic review show, where we are talking about Jeff Lemire tonight. And
that's right.
To that side is OmniCat. OmniCat, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? The chat's wondering how you're doing.
Hey guys. I made an Instagram post and it cross-posted with Facebook, and lots of people noticed it. So I appreciate everybody, all your well wishes. Thank you. I would love to say that I was skateboarding to save Salma Hayek from deranged Antonio Banderas and fought him.
As you do.
It happens, but yeah. But no, I misstepped on my way into Walgreens, and boom, I went down on my hand, and this was 2 weeks ago. Blood everywhere. I was like really shaken up, and the thing that made me the maddest was there were a bunch of people around and nobody did anything for like 30 seconds. And I was really angry. I was starting to think, hey, I just fell and I'm not moving. Why aren't these people helping me? And so they eventually started going, are you okay? Okay, be careful, roll over, sit up quite slowly. You want me to call an ambulance, blah, blah, blah. So they started being nice, so that was good.
That's good.
But I went down hard, man, and I was really lucky that this is all that happened, because I could have cracked my head. I could have fallen right on my face. A number of things.
I smell a lawsuit. That's what I smell a lawsuit. That's what I smell.
That curb just jumped up out of nowhere. And of course, it's going into Walgreens. The only two places I go are the doctor's office and the pharmacy. So, because you can tell I haven't got my hair cut in 6 months. So
it's hard.
I know. My wife is saying, get your last haircut for the next 4 months at Monday. So I've
just
been
get
ordered.
Real short so it lasts.
I'm gonna get a buzz cut.
Yeah,
man. I'm
good.
gonna look like a Marine.
Just wear a hat,
Yeah, it's gonna be super short. So yeah, thank you to everybody who is Ox Pete's comment is really funny. I wanted to show it. I appreciate everybody who is wishing me well. Was it his good one or his useless lefty extra arm? Unfortunately, it's my good one, and it
sucks.
It is really hard to. I mean, I can type a little bit, but I can't lift a cup of coffee or do anything really with it. So I just broke a bone. It's a minor inconvenience. I don't need surgery. The doctor said I was lucky. I could have needed surgery, but they just wrapped it up and they'll take X-rays. And here's a good prediction: Jess will be high in root beer and painkillers. That's always the case. So I mean, that's always a bet you win. And Lloyd Wong with a good prediction: if Jess Hall's manga, we'll know those painkillers were pretty potent. I actually did not get painkillers for this. It doesn't really hurt that much now that it's wrapped up. Is there truth to the rumor that Taylor broke Jess's arm because he was jealous of Jess's collection? No, Taylor is a very peaceful guy, and I don't think he's jealous of my collection at all.
I can't see that happening.
No, he is a very peaceful, gentle person, very nice guy. So. I guess I have a reputation. Poor Jess. Does that mean he'll need painkillers? I guess we'll see in a few days when he gets books he does not remember ordering.
That has happened quite a bit, hasn't it?
That
just happens, though.
I don't need painkillers to forget what I order. No. Let's see what else is going on. The chat is funny. Oh, Lloyd again. Yeah, It actually, I have a kind of a laptop pillow, and that's what I'm putting any kind of hard covers on. But it actually does impact my reading a little bit. I'll tell you what it impacts is my eating. I can't bend my wrist, and I have to like stand up and eat off of like the mantelpiece above the fireplace so I can shovel it in like that. It's just inconvenient.
It is weird when like you mess up your dominant hand or like something happens and then or your leg or your foot or anything like that and you're like, why can't we use like most people aren't ambidextrous, right? Like why can't we use both hands in the same way? It does make you realize how weird that is and how much you rely on this hand, you know?
Yeah, especially writing. I can't write it. I tried writing something and it was literally like a 2-year-old.
So bad. Yeah.
2-year-old at their best. I was just like,
or like as a kid, you try to do it like, oh, this will be fun. We'll see it. And it's just so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, there's no coloring within the lines for me. I'm just all over the place. Let's see. Jesse, say what? Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. Yeah, I gave people options on how I hurt myself. And it is that I tripped on a curb. Yeah, I should have said that I dropped War of Realms on my hand.
Yeah, that would hurt.
That would have gotten me a lot of street cred. So let's see. Zach is in Malta. Thank you, Zach, for tuning in.
Staying up late or getting up early.
Wow.
One of the two.
Oh, and here's evening all. Good to see you again, Kristen. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. I am. Things are weird these days. It was definitely, by the way, I saw the show you and Taylor did. Thank you to everyone who wished me well. That was very nice. Also, you guys had a great show that day. So that was fun. The show you guys ended up doing, what was it on? I don't know. I don't know, but it was a good one.
I don't think it was our most important books. It was something else. It was the show.
No, that one was good too. I think it was the cheap, like where to get your books cheap.
Oh yeah, how to find
that was good.
Books.
Very much like that. But yeah, thank you. It was definitely, I know you were like, I don't know if I should say, yeah, I had to get a COVID test. Doctors were like, pretty sure you have it. And then I didn't. So they were like, maybe it's something else viral. Maybe you have seasonal asthma. We still don't really know. I was prescribed an inhaler. So, because I was having major like shortness of breath, but it's way better now. Like I still feel weird sometimes, but it's way better. So I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So you...
And I tested negative.
Oh, good.
So we're good.
Staying up late with the boys, Zach is. Hunter Rose, 1 a.m. in Sweden. Hey, Longor, they're in Sweden. That's a drinking song that I used to know. Hey, Longor. That's back when I was in college drinking. Okay, I'm going to skip some of these because they're not appropriate. Thank you very much. But everybody, I appreciate all the well wishes, and I'm sure Kristen appreciates all her well wishes.
I do. Thank you very much.
Now we're back. Finally.
Can we highlight Chris Kaufman's comment at 6:06, though, please?
6:06?
Yeah, well... it is where I am. It's
where are you?
Central Time, as Riley says, the real time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I read G.G. Allen Rock World Terrorist. You know, it's cool when the first 3 pages are dedicated to apologies of what's to come. That is hilarious. It's so true. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope Reed's watching. I told him to. I don't know if he is.
I've read that book 2 or 3 times, and it's... the highlight of the book really are the apologies. It's very funny.
I love how he did that because I even asked him, I'm like, how are you going to do this so people know that like you're not cool with a lot of this behavior, you know? And then I love how he did it. He just broke the fourth wall, and you know, you see him like he's like, hey, so I don't agree with this stuff.
And he apologized to his mother too.
Yeah, I hope she never reads it. I hope she doesn't. I don't think she has yet. So.
Yeah, I remember when we interviewed him about it in for OmniBros, that there were some comments that he didn't backtrack, but he gave more complete answers than he was able to give on the show, and was able to say exactly that. I'm not condoning it. I'm just putting it out there. That's what this guy did, and blah, blah, blah. But it is a really good book. I like it a lot. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm really happy you liked it, Chris. That's a very nice comment.
Taylor Brown in the chat, busting my chops. Thank you. What a diva. Yeah, I did. It actually wasn't my broken hand. It's that I was so sick earlier in the week. I didn't get the reading done.
That's fair.
So, yeah, that's usually my excuse. Jeez, I can't believe it.
A lot of painkiller talk, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you get some free Marvel Legends or candy or anything because of it?
Any Walgreens exclusives? You're like, here's your pop, sir. I'm so sorry.
I did tell, when I told Tyler Blunt that, he said, "Oh, I hope it was because you were going in to get Legends for you and me." And I'm like, no, I was going in to take a FedEx package in and pick up my pill prescription. And I still did it. I had to get a tetanus shot. He looked at the doctor last week. He looked at my wounds, and he gave me a tetanus shot. That hurt.
I hear those are. I mean, I have had one, but you don't only have to get one every years and years unless you need it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that. But I hear they're very very painful.
I had a flu shot earlier this year, and that was nothing. That was nothing.
That really depends on who does it. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Because last year, it was totally cool, no big deal. This year, I'm like, well, I don't know what you did, dude, but that hurt. It hurt for days.
Well, I think they're supposed to go for the muscle or something.
Yeah.
And that's where it really hurt.
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. But this year is I didn't even notice it. So, yeah, it was a rough week for OmniDog.
I'm glad you feel better.
Can he reenact it with his action figures? Okay, I actually can.
Yeah,
That would be a great idea. I will reenact that and post that on Instagram. I'll have all the bystanders doing nothing, and me just flat out with the package sprawled. That is a great idea, Michael. I'm definitely gonna do it. That's possible. Nemo has definitely caused me problems. I was without internet since Thursday too, and I don't know which was worse: being without internet or not being able to, move my arm.
It's rough.
Yeah, I mean being without internet is when you get used to it and you rely on it, it's a big deal.
And now more than ever, right? This year alone. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's all we have.
You're supposed to be quarantined and stuff, sure.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see what else is going on in the chat besides pain pill talk. Okay, Cycle Cleveland already popping off. The best Jeff Lemire book is Trillium. No, we know it's Cycle Cleveland because it's in all caps.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he always talks in all caps. Yeah, I have spoken.
He's yelling.
Yeah, well, he always does. And Philip loves, where'd Philip go? Loves Underwater Welder.
Also good.
Ben brings up a good point. How are you guys planning on doing a top 10? He'll have written at least 3 more classics before you're done streaming tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to do an updated one next year, probably, because there will be tons more.
Kristen and I were chatting today, and she said, "This guy's written a lot of books." Like, yeah, they're all over my floor, and I'm trying to pick my favorites, and he is extremely productive, prolific. Cycle's still yelling. Did you get more reading done while the internet was out? Let's see. Thursday I was sick, and then Friday I went to get to my cast on. I did get a little reading done, but I wasn't feeling well before this. So, but I did get some reading done. No, I did not get shot in the rear. Oh boy! Now you're talking. Now you're talking. I can go to any ATM and get money. Now you're talking my language for that Captain Britain omnibus. I mean, now I'm listening to you, Michael. My favorite one is the one with the hockey players. JK, but I haven't roused Kristen with that joke in over a year.
Thank you, Philip.
Oh, here's Reed. My mom has a special version where all the pages are blank.
You should print that. That would be funny. We're like, here's my new book. Make it out to her for Christmas. You can read it now. I've edited everything out.
Mom, that's
all the bad stuff.
It's how books are done these days. Thank you, Psycho Seb. I already have my next Instagram action figure idea, thanks to Michael. There's Fat Jesus. How's it going, buddy? Cycle Cleveland will be another 2 hours before they get to the topic. We can't rush them. That is somebody that knows my shows really well. We will be talking about Gideon Falls because that is a book that is sort of a well, we can talk about it now because it's not finished, so we really can't judge it. What if it turns out, I was talking to Taylor about this, what if it turns out like The Wake by Scott Snyder, where it was awesome for 8 issues and then it totally fell up a cliff? I don't think that's going to happen because this thing's building to something incredibly crazy, but I can't review it yet because it's not done, and I think it has 2 more trades, or for those of you who are smart, a hardcover that's coming out next year.
I mean, you just read it on Hoopla. I'm telling you, man. All these Image books. Right there.
I don't know why, especially with Jeff Lemire, why do I buy any of his books? They always get nice treatment afterwards.
Yeah. Everything beside me is, except for one thing. Well, I shouldn't tell you. That's kind of a spoiler. Never mind. But yeah, there's he has a lot of nice editions of stuff. I will say, on the Gideon Falls note, Black Hammer is technically not complete either.
Well, that's true.
Because he's going back to the main story, supposedly.
Yeah.
But
I'm reviewing it anyway. So.
Yeah, same. There is a lot more. Well, can you say a lot more?
There's a lot more to. I think it's a completed story.
That's true. That's the big difference there.
Yeah, and he has several spin-offs that are complete. So I don't think it's a problem for us to judge that book. It's too early to bring this up, Lloyd Wong. We will be bringing it up.
We sure will.
I do, Sergio. I own the Dr. Fate Golden Age archive. That is a great book. And I have a Lois Lane one and a Sugar and Spike one because those are the only ways I'm going to get those books. DC's never going to reprint anything good because I want Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Sugar and Spike omnibuses. Come on. They were top Silver Age, man. Sell me that book. Why does everybody want my books? You just go out and buy it yourself, dude. Jess, you both buy these books early to show them off so I can trade weight for the deluxe. Thank you both. Well, that is true. I do have a show where I try to get people to read or not read books, so that I kind of do have to do that. I have not had a chance to read the question. Have you read it?
No, I'm going to do that on Hoopla at some point, though. But I have not. That's another thing. I mean, obviously the things we haven't read, we're not going to put on our list. I have not read everything by him. I've read all his, like, the stuff he's done the art and the writing for. I've read all of that, for sure. Like, his creator-owned stuff. But some of the stuff he's just written, I mean, I never read that X-Men run. I will maybe someday. But I hear it's not great anyway. So I'm like, maybe. I mean, there's definitely, I don't know. There's some stuff around here that I haven't gotten to.
I think even it was either he or Cullen Bunn that was not happy with their X-Men run. And they admitted it's because the editorial gave them so many constrictions on it. And
yeah, I can't fully blame him for that.
Oh, no. No, not at all. And I get it. I understand. So let's see what I will tell you what I'm not going to be talking about because, well, they didn't, these books didn't make it into the top list because I loved them both, but they weren't his creator-owned stuff, and I feel like you and I probably concentrated more on his creator-owned stuff than we did his stuff for the big two. I know, speaking for myself, I know I did. I will say...
Oh, be careful.
I know. I will say I did love this book. It was as a Moon Knight fan, I thought it was really, really good, but I kind of felt like not concentrate. He had so much other stuff that I just didn't want to do that. And then I also like this book, Black Hammer and Justice League, but it was also Justice League, so it wasn't real. This was an excellent book, but it wasn't his. They weren't his character. Half of them weren't his characters. So
I can't believe you're not talking about that. That's my number one. Spoiler.
Oh, is it?
No. No, I like that one too, though. But yeah, I wouldn't even if we were bringing it into the picture, I wouldn't.
Yeah. You said you were gonna, before we got on the air, you were gonna tell me something.
I wanted to show you something I got.
Oh, okay.
It has nothing to do with anything. But I mean, how cute is this?
A snow globe?
Yeah, of the child. Oh, come on. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, you gotta shake it out.
Isn't it adorable? I love it. It makes me so happy. I was like, oh, we have to get this. 100%.
Where did you find it?
TJ Maxx. So it was real cheap.
So it was marked down.
It was marked down real cheap. I was like, how is this here? I need it. That's all. I was just like, I have to show this to Jess. It's so cute.
That is cute.
So that's our Christmas decoration.
That is awesome.
You know, had to.
So Mike Lehman, he's drowning. Let him out. Hey, Omar, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, Jeff Lemire's Hawkeye. I forgot about that. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know that I've read that.
You know, it's behind me right now, and I've never read it.
What format is it?
It's the third after the fraction stuff. It's sealed. It was $12.
Okay, yeah, I have that
I
right.
haven't even opened this. I pulled a Jess with this one. I didn't open it yet, and it's been there forever. So one day, maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking over at my Hawkeye stuff, and it is there. Yeah, okay. My arm is fine. Thank you, Omar. I appreciate it. Do you want to talk about the one book that's not on our list? Do you want to start out with that book?
I think we should.
I pulled it out. For some reason, I still have it. And
I do too. I have it right beside me, actually. Because we both still have it, and we still have it, I think both of us, in the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive hardcover. I mean, why? Right? Mine is signed by Emmy Lennox, who's the artist. There's your spoiler. Who I love. I love her art. I think her art was very well done in the series.
That is a cool
little doodle.
Yeah.
My friend Kyle Starks was there, and I was like, hey, pick this up for me. So he grabbed it for me and got it signed by her. It's Plutona, of course. If anybody doesn't know by now, we don't like this book. Like this, I've said it before, okay? It's like 4 or 5 issues. If it would have continued, I think I would feel completely different about this. But it very much, to me, abruptly ended, so there was 0 character development, and ultimately nothing happened because it ended. That's how I felt. So it made me mad, and then I kind of hated it a little bit. So this would be at the bottom of my Lemire list, 100%. If it went down that far, way past 10 to 100 or however much he's done, that's probably where it's going to stay. Yeah, and I'll keep this probably if it's gonna stay here, so we can keep referencing it.
I wonder why we have such a hard time letting go of it. I don't like it at all, but I just can't let it go. First of all,
the art is great.
Nice format.
I will keep saying the art is great. I love Emmy's art. I think it was very well done. Mm-hmm. The characters themselves, I think, were good characters. These kids were interesting, but because of how it ended and certain things never came back around and never got explanations, and there were a lot of bizarre things that I'm like, that would never happen. Then we've talked about it before, and then it just abruptly ends. That is the problem with this book. If this were maybe like 5 issues more even, this could be one of our top 10. It could.
Yeah.
That's how I felt, at least. And I'm just like, no, there's nothing here.
Maybe I had him. I met him at Baltimore. Gosh, but I don't know that I could bring it up. Hey, have you ever thought about Plutona Book 2, where you actually finish the book?
Well, you could say that nicely. I mean, hey, Plutona didn't really end. Could we continue that, maybe? See if we feel differently about it.
And there's also, this is him doing somebody else's characters. The art was great, but Taylor and I didn't particularly care for Teen Titans Earth 1. This was probably our least favorite Earth 1 book. Although I'm a huge Dodson fan with the art, but this book it didn't click with me at all. And I know we're supposed to be fanboying and fangirling over Jeff Lemire now, and we're starting out by ripping him down. But
then we'll praise him for a long time.
Yeah, the rest of this video is going to be praised completely. So those are just the 2 that I didn't dig. There's another one too. It'll come up at some point. We'll talk about it. I have it right in front of me, but I don't want to. I feel like we're kind of beating on him, so I want to get to what we really like. Do you have yours in order or just a 10?
I have them in order, 10 to 1.
Oh, you did better than I.
Oh, you just have 10 random ones?
Well, not really, but here's the problem. I started reading them all again, and I'm like, and I got kind of behind, and I know my top 3. Let me get my top 3 together, and I'll figure out while we're talking what
Okay.
10 through 4 through 10.
Perfect.
Dona root beer bath finale. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't know about these 2 runs. I didn't read them.
I didn't either.
I've heard people talk well about Terrifics, but I don't think I've heard anybody say anything about Justice League United. That doesn't mean it was good or bad. I just don't think I heard people talk about it. But I know I've heard good things about Terrifics.
Which I have that Justice League book somewhere around me. That was an Ollie's pickup for like $3. So I haven't ran to read it, but I was like, it's $3.
Oh,
Fine.
Taylor's correcting me. Superman was his least favorite by far. That is true. He hated Superman.
Oh, I won't read that.
Well, no, it's Superman.
If it's bad and it's Superman.
Yeah, it's bad
I'm good.
Superman. I liked it more than he did, but he brought up several points that made me like it less. He's really analytical. It pisses me off.
I think you love it.
I like this book, and then he starts pointing out all these things that couldn't possibly happen. I'm like, oh, I guess I really didn't like it. So number 10. While you are talking about number 10, I'm going to look for it. Oh man, this is going to be hard. Okay, I found number 10.
That was easy.
Why don't you start?
Okay, my number 10, Psycho Cleveland. This is for you. It's Trillium. So Trillium made my top 10. I hadn't read this in years. So I was looking at this on my shelf. Let me go ahead and show you some art in this. Also, very pretty Vertigo hardcover. I haven't checked recently. I believe you could still find this for very cheap. Like, it was heavily discounted for a while. So I reread this about 2 or so weeks ago. And did I flip it upside down? I always forget oh yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Yeah. It was better than I remembered it, right? So I really loved it. I still really loved it. All these top 10 I love. I just had to put them in an order of my enjoyment, right? So if you don't know about Trillium, it is so hard to describe that I'm going to do my best. But
yeah, good luck.
Yeah. It begins where I don't even know what year it is, but some year in the future, I believe on a spacecraft. You get to meet these people, specifically this character, this woman. I can't think of her name at all.
Oh,
here she is, like on some planets, like doing her planet work. She eventually runs into this guy that's from the past. So there's a lot of time travel. There's a complete split of like universes you're on. Here he is. He just comes out of nowhere and she's like, okay, wait. Even his dialect, like the English he's speaking is from very far in the past, and she's very far in the future. So their stories connect throughout this entire thing. And I just had completely forgot the wild ride that this was.
Yeah.
And honestly, how good it was, because it had just been so long since I read it. And, you don't hear this one talked about tons like his other stuff, But I really think it's totally brilliant. The way it was done, eventually you do get to, you saw it on the cover, but the flipped perspectives. Where is that? One day I'll find it. There it is. So specifically, I think it's just an issue of it. But you read the top, half of the panels, which is like her story. And something big happens in the book at this point. So you read that, and then at the end of hers, at the last page of the issue, you flip it upside down to read his story, and you go back through the pages. And that was such a unique experience that I thought would be annoying. Even upon rereading, I'm like, oh, did I think this was annoying? No, it was very well done. It read very easily. You get really used to just reading this top half, and it does help that he changed the art for it, so you kind of just ignore these and you keep going. And it was a really uniquely done experience. And I thought it really helped the story and the way the characters were intersecting in ways you didn't expect. I don't know. I loved it. It deserves to be my top 10. And I love the reread. And I think if you haven't, like, if you read this like years ago, like I did, and you're kind of like, I don't know if I even liked it, I highly recommend to reread this. I think you're going to have a good time.
Yeah. That, I will say that book is further, whoops. That book is further up on my list than 10. So when we get there, I will just say what Kristen, you can refer back to what Kristen said. My number 10 book would be Frog Catchers. I liked, I think now that I've read and looked at enough Jeff Lemire art, I know a lot of people, it takes them a while to get used to it, if they get used to it. I am now at the point where I actually enjoy it. I like it because it conveys the emotions and the feelings that he's trying to get through. I think that his writing, he's one of these writers that deals with so many complex human emotions in so many different situations and with different people and in different lives and years and stuff, that the book has very simple lines, like a lot of his stuff. And as far as I could tell, this is about a guy at the end of his life. And this is all going through his head about, catching frogs and regaining his youth and remembering his son. And I felt it was more of a touching end of life story to me than any kind of haunted mystery, or however because there's a lot of these weird things that happen when he meets this young friend, and he's hooked up to IV bottles and everything, and the art is, there's this one I'm trying to get to the one really mind-blowing page
Toward the end, right?
Yeah, let me see where I go. Oh, wait a minute. If this was a professional show at all, I'd have already had it bookmarked so we could, yeah. Like, that's the Edgewater Hotel right in the middle of him and the water, and it just was a very kind of deep emotional experience. Very, very simple about the guy reliving things, and it just I mean, it's some of the like, if you look at some of this art, I can see why some people don't dig it, but you can look at those two pictures and you can just you can feel the despair coming off of this character. And that's really what I concentrated on in this book, was how his art, while it gets criticized and it's considered simple, it's perfect for his writing because it gives off the emotions with such simple lines. So that's why I like Frog Catchers, because this is the book that helped me not only accept his art but like it and realize that it's not just a part of his work, it's his work. It's like it's story and art, and it combines to make that feeling that you get when you read his books.
Oh, and I'll speak more of that later.
Okay.
So my ninth book is The Nobody.
Oh, excellent choice.
This is pretty much, if you guys haven't read The Nobody, it is a retelling of The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. So if you're all familiar with that, you'll be familiar with the story. Of course, there are differences as a retelling, but I love this color palette. We'll start there, which is just like blue shading throughout. This is one of his books. Again, it's one of those like people don't talk about a lot, but it's so well done. This guy is completely bandaged up. He lives in like a rural town and deals with how people treat him and the community as a whole. As every Jeff Lemire story, there's a lot of heart and a lot to be told through this. A lot happens, and I don't want to give it away. So if you are familiar with The Invisible Man, like you already know the basis of the story. If you're not, I say just grab this book and read it, because it's also a quick read, just like Frog Catchers is very quick. This is a quick one. It's quite thin, and I think you could still get this. I got this sometime this year because I hadn't bought it. I'd read it, but I hadn't bought it, and it was quite cheap. It was very much undercover. So
now you have a glossy cover.
Well, I got this on eBay.
Why am I always pressing both of us? I'm trying to get the heck out of that. There we go. And mine's matte.
Well, it is matte under this. So the person on eBay put like this Mylar.
Oh, broad art type of stuff? Oh, okay.
Yeah, on it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to rip this off. I'm just going to keep it in this night. Oh, come on, camera. There we go. Yeah, it's very much like, oh, your computer's shiny. It's shiny. So yeah, it's just like yours. But I was like, well, it's protecting it. I'll keep it on. Yeah. Why not? I also thought I'd rip it off and I'd break something. So I was scared.
I agree. This book is great. Let's see. Where am I going here? I think that I will choose Berserker Unbound. He did not do the art in it, but he wrote. The art in it is crazy great by Mike. It's not Diodato. I'm sure Psycho Cleveland in the chat will tell me how to pronounce it. It's like Diodato or something like that. But the art is remarkably good, and it's not. It's the story of a man like Conan. He's a barbarian who gets pulled into our time. So that story's been told before. But what Lemire does with it is completely different, and he, as usual, gets down to these deep, complex roots of a man out of time and out of place, and he meets a homeless guy who you could say the same thing about, and they bond. I don't want to go into the ending, because the ending is the ending's kind of, well, I don't want to give away the ending. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. I don't want to give away the ending. There are these enemies of the Berserker that are after him, and they go through whatever trans-dimensional warp to come after him, and so they're on the run, this big berserker guy and this homeless man, and it's really compelling and interesting because the Conan character thinks in English, but he can't speak it to the homeless guy, and his thoughts for a barbarian are very interesting and far removed from what you'd think that, some guy that looks like this, how he would act. He's had problems on his home world where, well, I can't give that away because I can't give that away either. But he's had problems on his home world. He misses his wife and family, and he comes from, a world of swords and sorcery. And it doesn't really sound like a Lemire book, but the characterization of these guys, these two, this unlikely pair, evokes great empathy from me, and it was just a wonderful, fun read that you look at the cover and you're like, oh, a barbarian in traffic. How original is that? But it's I'd like to see more of this because he the bond that he develops with this homeless guy is really endearing and not something that I expected. And I highly recommend this as just a fun. It's short, it's quick, it's beautiful art. It's really, just typical Lemire writing where he can do in a few pages that a lot of other writers have to take a long time for, and that is evoke emotions and make you care about the characters and draw fully fleshed out characters that if they're flawed, well, everybody's flawed, but the flaws in these characters run through all these books. It makes them more human, I think, to me, and more relatable.
He represents humanity the best out of every writer I've ever read, to me, my personal opinion. And it's funny to say that as I go into my number 8 pick, which is Descender, which is ultimately, there are humans in this, but it's ultimately about robots. And I'm sure everybody knows by now what Descender is. He did not do the art. That was Dustin Nguyen, and the art's also incredible, I think. But
it's watercolor, right?
Yeah. You get to really dive deep into this boy who's a little robot boy with this little robot dog. I never thought I'd care more about a robot dog like in my entire life. And you'll see my bookmark in here because I started to reread it. Yes, it's a cat paw holding a pencil. But it's, again, we just talked about his humanity, and nothing felt more human in this book, I think, than the little robot boy who's not even a human.
Right.
And that, to me, just shows what kind of writer he is, how he can make you care about not even non-people. There's so much heart in this. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read it. Get the 2 deluxes. They're still in print, and they're beautiful, and there's no dust jacket. So it's the best.
And you're welcome, because I owned all the paperbacks, and I ended up getting it in deluxe too. This
Nice.
is my pick in the same order. Where are we? 7? I think
8. 8, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 8.
I might
We're
be.
both at 8 with Descender. We finally got to one together. Is that what's happening?
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is my 7. I might have gone ahead of you, but didn't
Really?
you start? I don't care.
I
Whatever.
went Trillium and the Nobody.
Oh, no, I haven't talked about Trillium yet.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I was okay. Yeah, Descender is also my choice here.
Nice.
Beautiful art, and everything Kristen said is 100%. And it's, I usually don't like conspiracy things. I don't like conspiracy shows or movies. Conspiracies just really drive me nuts, but there's a major conspiracy going on in here. And I still liked it a lot. And given how much I hate conspiracy, that says something, because this was, I think this is a lot of people's favorite Lemire book, and I can see why.
Totally.
It's got a lot of really cool, interesting characters with a lot of moving parts, and as I'm looking at it, it makes me realize I need to read it again. As I look at all these books, it makes me realize, even if I got them 6 weeks ago, I need to read them again. That's
what was happening to me. Like I said, I started Descender again. I reread entirely of Trillium and over the span of a day, and I was like, I gotta stop. And then I reread Frogcatchers, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. So another thing I would like to reread, that is my number 7 pick, and I know it's gonna be higher for you. That's Sentient. You and I have done a review of this if anyone wants to go back in time and watch it.
That's right.
My book
You're
still
smelling
smells
it.
weird. It still smells weird. But this is another space book. So my space books were back to back. But this is about a group of children. Something terrible happens, and they're trying to survive on their own. As it says in the title, the ship they're on is sentient, and stuff goes crazy. You saw some blood there. I apologize. There's a lot of blood. It's not for the faint of heart, I think. A lot happens. It tugs at your heartstrings. You care about the character so much. And as I said, we dove deep into it, I think, back when we talked about it. And it's so great. I definitely want to reread it. I feel like a lot of these, I'm like, if I reread them, maybe I'd put them in a different order because, we do have a certain recency bias. But as I said, all top 10, like all these 10 I loved, and I love this. And if you buy the paperback, just be sure to smell it. I've had it for a long time now, and it still smells weird.
Wait, let me smell my copy because mine's higher up than yours. It does smell kind of weird.
Yeah, it's more faint now than when I first got it, but I still smell it.
My next pick is, now we're getting to the point where it's really hard to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Because I counted 2 books as one because it's a universe. So this next book is, it's actually the first thing I ever read by him. And it's a beloved book. I would say it's considered a classic. I don't even need to talk about it really. It's probably in everybody's collection because if anybody says anything bad about it, it's probably his art or something. I don't know, but it's Sweet Tooth. And this was my first introduction into Jeff Lemire. Everybody knows how great it is. Everybody knows just how the ending is brilliant and how the whole story is brilliant. And this is where he gets those evocative emotions to come out of his artwork, really, with Sweet Tooth and with the Jeopard, who you can't trust at first, and then you end up trusting him. I don't know. It's just fantastic and everybody knows about it. So I don't want to repeat myself because I'm sure when this came out, it was on everybody's top 10 that year, top 5, or now it's their favorite book because this thing has heart. It is just full of heart, and you really care about all the characters. You get angry, you fall in love with the characters, you get mad at the characters, you get angry at the situation. I mean, it's a comic book, and it pulls all these emotions out of you. It's hard to come up with a better book than Sweet Tooth. I'm going to try. This is like number 6 or whatever we're on. But that was the first. Did he sign that? No, I had him sign Frogcatcher. I think that probably everybody who has ever read it just feels the exact same way at the ending. That it is absolutely, a lot of writers don't stick the ending. This is like, he didn't just stick the ending. It's an ending for the ages. It's like unbelievably perfect.
One you can't forget.
Right.
It's been a bit since I reread it, and I remembered it from the first. Yeah, it was just like, that stays with you.
Yeah.
So my number 6 pick is Frogcatchers.
Okay.
I agree with everything you said. I reread this when I was trying to make this list. It is probably the quickest read out of my entire pile. It is so fast, but it's just like you said, it punches so much. I don't want to give away anything, but I did want to mention, I love how he sprinkled color in toward the end. So there's no color until the end where certain things, and there's reasons, but certain things start having color.
Right.
And then there's even more of it, which I can't show that. But some of the panels have it, some of them don't, for very good reasons. He not only conveys so much with his art and his words and the wordlessness of a lot of this too. I think a lot can be said for a writer who can not have a ton of words really throughout this entire book. There's words, but not tons, and still convey the emotions and make you feel things, completely understand what's going on. Because I've read completely silent books before and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like, you're not doing well at this. And then the stuff with the color at the end, that really got me. The fact that where he put the color and what was happening was just perfect and beautiful and said so much more than any words could have. So he can tell a story with anything, with his art, with the color, it was just, I love this so much. And it really, the ending stuck with me for this too.
Yeah. As I said, when I was talking about it, it's wordlessness. His art is what conveys the feelings and the emotions and where the story goes. For me, that's when I really started to appreciate his art. Was Frogcatcher, because you're right. There's not very many. There are not a lot of words in it. And
even the way in Trillium, when he was kind of going back and forth between perspectives and the stark difference in his art was telling its own kind of story too. He's also done that in other things I'll bring up soon. But I love that he can go back and forth between super sketchy, more refined, and there's a reason in the story, and it hits you every time. Yeah. It's great. He's great.
And my next pick would be Trillium, which you already heard Kristen talk about. I've read this. I read it in floppies. Then I think I picked this up discounted somehow, the deluxe edition. I read it in floppies around the same time that I read another book that I felt like, I'm not going to say who the writer was because I didn't care for the book, and so I don't feel like bashing him. But I feel like it was the writer was trying to accomplish sort of the same thing, sort of the same time period. But I get so much out of this every time I read it. It's different. I get something different out of it because it's really complex. I mean, this is like super science fiction-y and deals with them showing up in different eras and different planes and dimensions and all kinds of things, different realities. And so I get a lot out of it every time because I pick up something new every time. So this is definitely in my top 10 Jeff Lemire books.
I'd say that's the most dense book I've read from him. It took time and a little more effort than it. Like you said, it's a very science fiction-y. There's a whole new race of aliens that you get to experience. It's a blast. I will have to reread it again. I feel like I felt the same way. I was like, you know what? I need to reread this again so I can understand more of it.
Yeah. There's there's so many different realities that show up in this book that these people are subject to.
And I do want to mention earlier, someone said you had me until you had to flip the book upside down. I do want to stress it is just one issue.
Yeah.
There's only one issue of that. And it's very easily done because at first I was like, oh, this is going to be annoying. I keep having to flip it. No, you just have to flip it once. So you have it regular, you read the top, and then it shows you there's an arrow, and then you flip the book, you read that top, and then you're done. So it's just one flip. It's not crazy.
It does have a dust jacket that Kristen hates, but it's a really cool inside, different than the cover.
It's nice.
It's really neat. I love it when they do that, when they give you something extra on the inside that the dust jacket's covering up. I know you don't like dust jackets, but I'm just saying.
No, but I mean, if you're going to do it like that.
Yeah.
Show me something under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to take it off. I'm not you. You know, one that
Did you call me a heathen one time?
Yeah, you're a heathen, keeping your dust jacket on when you read it. What are you? I don't understand that. So speaking of, my number 5 pick is Black Hammer, and I had the dust jacket off because I'd been reading it again.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm not grabbing that. And you know what also? It does not have a nice different cover underneath. It's exactly the same as the dust jacket. So that's a little annoying.
I don't think I noticed that.
Oh, I did, and I was bothered. I took it off, and I was like, really? What are we doing here? Oh, be careful.
Yeah, I know.
If you're picking up the library edition, it's very heavy. It is a chonker. And it's very soft. Everyone knows Black Hammer. Now, I don't really need to go into this, but I love it, and it's so well done. And if you haven't read it yet, please let this be the time you pick it up. Again, we're getting to the point where it was hard to do the top ones because I feel like this is 100%. I don't have a problem with anything in this book. I love this book, but decisions had to be made. So this is where I put Black Hammer. I'm going to read every single side story. I'm going to pick up every library edition. I have them all so far. There's 3 guys. Pick them up. It's worth every penny. And again, very nice library editions. And I'm looking forward to everything from it.
Yeah, this to me, I'm cheating totally because I chose them both. Okay, I can't. I'm gonna have to hold them up one at a time. This is The World of Black Hammer, and then I think there's the other one that comes. This is with he was Dr. Starr. Now they're calling him Dr. Andromeda. But it collects Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil, Dr. Andromeda and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows. This is separate from Black Hammer, if I recall correctly. Now I haven't read it in a long time, but I felt like this was, you just had to have knowledge of maybe the first trade paperback of Black Hammer to really get into these stories that stood on their own, if I'm remembering them correctly.
Yeah, I believe the official reading order from Dark Horse is, if you're doing the library editions, read the first one, then read World of, then read the second one, and then the rest after that. And someone is asking me to mention more Black Hammer. So if you don't know, Black Hammer is about these superheroes, which, if you're familiar with just superheroes in general, you will see similarities with some other superheroes you know. They're not like copycats, but they're homages to especially like Golden Age characters and stuff.
Yeah.
They get stuck on this farm. They don't know.
Talk about it, and I'll show some art.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have it.
Yeah, I have it right here. And this is not the easiest thing, but okay.
So. Yeah, they mysteriously get stuck on there's your farm, and they don't know what's going on. They've been there for many, many years now, and they're trying to just function and exist from being these great, great superheroes to living in this small town, living specifically on a farm and trying to function with their lives. And it's fascinating. There's flashbacks to their prime. There's one of the characters back when she was a great superhero. It's I don't know what else to say about it. It's fascinating. It's unique. I've never read anything like it, and I care about every single one of these heroes so much. And you want to know what happens to them, and you want to know why it's happening. And I believe anyone who picks up this library edition, or you read the first volume, it's on Hoopla. There's a lot of ways you can get access to it, won't want to stop. And you should completely continue to World of Black Hammer and all of the side stories because it fleshes out the universe. You know, you get to learn more and more and more about these characters and the villains they've interacted with. So much from the main story you get from the side stories. And I'm specifically going to say that to my dad, who is watching either now or later, because I gifted him this first library edition sometime maybe early this year. He read it, loved it. And now I'm like, get the world of, you have to read the side stories. And he's somehow refusing. So he needs to. I know. I'm like, come on.
Let's go, Larry.
So he's like, well, I got to get volume 2. I'm like, no, you read World of before volume 2. You have to. So if you don't listen to me, Dad, listen to Jess. He's telling you the same thing. Please.
Trust me, buddy. Yeah. And there's going to be the one with, there's more paperbacks. There's another Streets of Spiral or whatever edition that's going to be coming out. This is World of. And there was, because it had like a Tuskegee Airman type story in it, and there was a paperback, and then there were a couple other books, and they're getting collected into library edition. So there's going to be 4 Herkin library editions, and I think Black Hammer. Depending on your knowledge of the Silver Age, particularly DC, it's really, Black Hammer is an homage to a lot of DC Silver Age stuff. There are a lot of Easter eggs in there, a lot of cover references to a lot of Silver Age books. It's really a love letter to the Silver Age, done in his style, and this is where I get suckered because, and it's not suckered, but this is the area where I can't wait like everybody else who's smart and reads it on Hoopla and, you know, or just doesn't read it and gets it in the library edition. I want to read those trades. I want to read everything right away and get into that world, because it is so cool. The universe that he's made is unbelievably interesting and fun and fresh and a whole new take on, you know, it's just on. I love when comic books shine like this because it shows what the medium's capable of. And part of me now regrets not making it my number 1 pick, but I stand behind what my number 1 pick will be. I bet nobody can guess it, but it's Black Hammer is just crazy good, just crazy good.
And you know, I thought maybe everyone has read it by now, but we got 2 people in the chat trying to order it right now. You can get Volume 1, Library Edition, and World of Black Hammer. They're back on IST.
Oh,
and that's the reading order, guys. Volume 1, then World of Black Hammer, and then Volume 2. So when Volume 2 comes back, you'll be set if you've already got the first 2.
Yeah, these are things that I think Kristen and I probably feel the same way when we say these are blind buys that we can recommend. You don't just, if you're a comic fan in general, you need these books.
I 100% agree. I think there really aren't too many books that I can say you all need it, like right now. Like I'll feel that in my heart for my own stuff, but I'm like, okay, this is maybe for everyone. No, this is for everyone. Every comic fan. You're totally right. It's so good. It holds up to rereads. It still like blows me away. Certain things that happen and how it grabs you and brings you in. And again, he's just the king of character development. It's just so well done.
But Oxmead Pete had a really nice compliment for us, so I want to get back to it. Let's see. It got political in here for a while.
Yeah, I saw that.
Here's Oxmead Pete. I'm so enjoying this today. Thank you so much for being so awesome. That
That's
is
so nice.
the nicest thing you could possibly say to me anyway, because I do these shows, especially with Kristen and Taylor and everybody that I do shows with, with Chad OmniDog and with Tyler Blunt, and even with Maddie, I've done some shows just to hopefully expose you guys to new reads that you might not know were out there, and that's why I've tried to not root beer books and not read bad things and stuff. That was my shtick at the beginning 3 years ago, but I don't need to do that. I just want to bring stuff to people that needs to be read that you might not know about, and this is all on our nickel. I mean, we're not getting comps, so
sadly not.
No. But
we bought all this ourselves.
Right.
And I gotta say, like, it makes me so happy that there are people in the chat right now ordering these books because we're talking about them.
That is awesome.
That's the best. And hopefully later on you guys will say, hey, this was a great buy and we're so glad, and not, hey, I hated this, you suck.
And somebody mentioned
there's no way. There's no way. It's just so good.
Oh, yeah,
I don't see anyone not enjoying it.
That's another book I don't think I've ever heard anybody say a bad word about.
Which is surprising. There's always someone, right?
Yeah. It's a couple people have referenced a really, really good book, and that's Jeff Lemire's Green Arrow from DC. And the guy's written so much, I just flaked on it. One reason I flaked on it is because it moved into the other room because I brought my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books in here because my figures needed a place to go in front of the books, and so I didn't see it, so I didn't think of it. But I really liked that Jeff Lemire Green Arrow book.
I've thought about picking that up just because of him and how I hear it's great. But if I'm a total noob, could I get into that at all if I don't know that character really at all?
What's that now?
If I'm a total newbie to the character, like, does that matter with his run, or do you remember?
I feel like it starts out. Let me get it. Just because I felt like it was
just be careful.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's like a landmine in here. It's got beautiful art. And I kind of do feel like it's a told from the beginning type story.
I never heard anyone say, so I never grabbed it. But I know it's a really nice deluxe edition, and I hear good things.
Yeah, I think this. I knew Oliver Queen. I haven't really read a whole lot of Oliver Queen Green Arrow since the 70s, and this may be one of the first times that I picked up Green Arrow since then. So I really just knew that he was a rich guy from the Northwest, and this has him like the TV show Marooned on a Mysterious Island, and he gets back to Seattle and he has things to deal with. Oh, I need to read this again. This is really good. I feel like you could pick this up and be fine. I think it's a reboot type thing.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe when you read it again, I'll read it with you.
Okay, that'd be great. Because it really is good, and I feel like he got to write how he wanted to write it.
Cool, that's great. What number are we on? We went on about that, didn't we? Let's see.
Yeah.
4. Number 4.
Okay, good. Yeah, I have 4 books left.
This is also one I feel like we reviewed together at some point, and that's Underwater Welder, which is so good. Yeah, we definitely reviewed it together because we showed off our signed and numbered copies, which are beautiful.
This is when I have it in my order too. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, and this edition also has a nice ribbon.
Yeah, it's an orange ribbon.
So nice.
About Halloween in this. Halloween is a big deal.
Yeah.
not a celebration. It's a bad time for the guy.
Yeah, and this is just a total, story about a father and a son, and this guy who is an underwater welder, the dad, and he does dangerous underwater welding. There's a whole. I think, what did I say before? I think this is such, and I think the intro by, I forget who the intro's by, but he said it too. You guys like the Twilight Zone? Yeah, of course you do. And basically comparing this to the Twilight Zone, I think this is that's the exact comparison. It feels like such a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
And the characters, again, so much heart, and you feel so much about it. I don't want to give tons of this away. You can still get this signed and numbered copy, by the way, from Top Shelf. This is still on their website, I believe. And it's a really nice hardcover, even if you don't get that one. It's beautiful. It's on Hoopla. You can read it a lot of different ways, and you should. And it is total Twilight Zone episode. And it makes you feel things.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. It makes you really care about each one of the characters. They all get wound up for different reasons. They have certain things that set them off, and it's all legitimate. It's all reasonable. You understand everything. But yeah, it does have Twilight Zone-esque appeal to it. And yeah, this is my number 4 book too. And Omar, the 2% loyalty discount only lasts for 8 days on IST, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't, it's not 2 weeks. You don't get it forever. It's 8 days.
No, but you can place an order and you'll have it immediately. So
if you're making a big order, just
split it up.
Yeah, and you'll get the 2%. Yeah, so we both love this. We both went on and on and on about it. And this is another place where I think his artwork tells a lot of emotion just in a panel like this, when he's actually underwater and he's going through all these things. I can't, well, let me see if I can highlight himself and do a better job here. But it's black and white, like a lot of his stuff. But his characters' faces are just really evocative. And I just, the book is, I don't know. This is the kind of thing that this is what I want more of, because I will reread and reread and reread this, as opposed to something where I read it and go, well, that was cool, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it again. That's
definitely.
And there's tons of books out there like that are perfectly good books, but I'm at the point now where I want books that mean a lot to me, that I want to keep reading.
And you'll always have an experience reading this. I think I also, when we reread it and we reviewed it, this is the page you had up. I just wanted to point out that this page right after, it's, I'm not going to tell you what's happening, but like so much is being conveyed and just the art throughout these few pages. And it's just incredible. People talk about his art all the time, and I'm like, I never had to get used to his art. I think his art's brilliant. There's so much to be said within it. It's not your normal art, but that's why it's also brilliant and unique, and can make you feel all the things. There's several pages here that don't have words. That's another thing that happens, where you're just like, you don't need it. His art is conveying all of it, and you know exactly what's going on, and you may cry. You just may. And that's okay. That's all right.
Here's a big compliment.
Oh. Thank you, Cycle.
Nice. Okay. So this is number 4 picks.
Yeah, number 3 we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is for me Royal City. And this is that big honkin' image hardcover.
that
I
I
believe
don't
it's-
have.
You have to. You just have to. I'm sorry, you have to. Thank you for your sacrifice. You have to.
Well, yeah,
It's very nice.
it
Look how nice it is.
gorgeous.
I gifted this to my dad for Christmas, so I'm making
You
him read it.
did?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm making him read it. I did that earlier today. I was like, hi, you're going to read this now. It's some full color Lemire, and his color's beautiful. We recently talked about this and went on about it, so, if you guys want to go back to that, but it is basically about a family in, I guess it's a small town, an industrial town, and they're all dealing with a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a ghostly element throughout this entire thing that is very intriguing, very well done. I don't want to give all that away because you don't necessarily know what's happening at first, and that's part of the intrigue. But just us recently, again, rereading this, I feel like I get something from his work every time I reread it. And I forgot how brilliant it was, I just like, it hits me again. I'm like, oh, that's so good. It's so well done. So this, this is like a contemporary family drama. There's a little bit of ghostly fantasy elements, and you need it in your life. And if you do like the nice image hardcovers, here you go. It's a very nice one.
Damn it.
Worth an upgrade.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. My third pick, Kristen already told you about, is Sentient from TKO. I hear myself echoing, but okay, it stopped. And she already went on about it, but the fact that it's, kids that end up running this ship and listening to the AI and the choices they have to make, where they end up, the ending. This was the best of the second wave of TKO, and I would put it up there right next to Garth Ennis's Sarah as far as what's come out of TKO. Those are the two best books, not just from TKO, but two of the best books out there. I think are Sentient and Sarah. And Kristen already told you about it, so I can't really add anything other than I liked it more than she did. So it's it's my third pick.
And I loved it.
And she loved it. So this is my third pick that you've already heard us talk. We talked about it. We loved it, and it's amazing. At some point in reading these books of his and doing reviews, because we do seem to review Lemire a lot. I'm just trying to think of when I just finally threw up my hands and said, this guy's a freaking genius. Maybe it was World of Black Hammer, or maybe it was Sentient or something, but he's like an author that I will just absolutely buy whatever he puts out. If it's Plutona, okay, not everybody rolls a strike and every frame. It's okay. One book out of all those others, everything. Man, the guy's batting 900 as far as I'm concerned. They're all awesome.
I clearly agree. And my number 2 pick, you've already talked about. And that's Sweet Tooth.
Okay.
And again, we've talked about it, and you and I recently read and reread and reviewed it. I want to add to what you said that I think this is a read, if you haven't read it already, or if you haven't read it this year, reading it in 2020 was an experience. I think it's an experience that, as long as you can handle it, like, you'll be okay. But it is about a pandemic that's happening within this. So it was weird. It was weird to experience that, but it also added something to it. There was a element that maybe I couldn't understand before that now I can, So that was fascinating. Also, everyone knows there's going to be a show next year sometime. So it is a good time to reread it. And people were asking earlier, it is going to be a compendium, apparently a paperback one that's coming out next year. But if they're not going to reprint these, which seems like they're not going to, you should get it that way because you need it in your life. So if you don't already have it, it's still a great way to read it, and I kind of want to get a honkin' paperback of it just to have it because I love it so much. Honestly, it's silly, doesn't make sense, but I may do it. Even though these are really nice, I may do it.
Yeah, those deluxe editions are really, really cool.
But I would not recommend anyone buying this for like $150 like they're going for. Don't do that.
Oh, they're out of print?
This first one, I believe, is.
Oh. Okay, wait for the compendium.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a nice commenter from Malaysia. Farhan from Malaysia. Huge comic fans and been following your channel since lockdown here, and thanks for being a good company in this difficult times. God bless you, Justin. Keep up the good work, guys. Peace and love. I can't tell you how much a comment like that means to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is a huge compliment. I really, really appreciate that. That is nice. And here's Joe Chip saying this show needs more likes. Come on, people. Hit the like button. I agree. Hit the like button. Are we down to our last two?
Yeah.
Was that your second?
That was my second. So I guess last three, yeah.
Okay. Here's my number two. And you can tell what I just did there.
Yeah.
I pulled it out of its slipcase. Essex County. Everybody knows about this. There's the guy we know that has 9 different copies of it. I do not have the hockey card edition of it.
Nobody got money for that.
Like that?
Nobody got money for that.
Yeah. I don't have the hockey card edition, but it's nice to have this slipcase edition. This is another famous classic book. I don't know if people talk about this as much as they would say Sweet Tooth or Black Hammer, even though this is considered by a lot of people maybe his major work. I don't know. It's I know. You know what? I'm gonna let you. I know it's your number one book, so I'm gonna let you talk about it.
How dare you spoil that?
You got a tattoo of it. Everybody knows
that.
True. This is great, and I know Kristen can do a better job describing everything about it than I can.
Can I? It's a lot.
There's so much going on in it, but it's mostly about these 2 hockey-playing brothers and the memory of their growing up by the older brother as he gets old and is in like a nursing home type situation, and so he zips in and out of the various places that he's been in his life. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that cry, not just at the end, but like all the way through this. This is really touching, and it's one of those things where it's a study of the human condition. Like a lot of his independent books are a study of the human condition and the frailties that we have, how we overcome them. He's not afraid to pull back the curtain, but he's also not super negative and like we're never going to be able to crawl out of the ooze that created us. It's like he'll pull back the curtain on things, but there's still hope. But he will. I mean, he does show people in the little moments of their lives. You know, our lives are built on those little moments, and not every little moment is going to be cookies and milk. Sometimes you're going to hit the sidewalk, man, and he's not afraid to show you. he does so in a way that is gripping.
I think you did a beautiful job.
I meant to shut up.
No, I love it. I love it. I think you did great. Of course, I also have the slipcase edition because it's shiny and beautiful, and I had to have it because I have the tattoo. Everyone knew. If it wouldn't be my number one, like, who am I? I gotta get that removed.
Yeah, exactly.
That would not be okay. Let's show this off for a second. Oh, it's so shiny. Beautiful. I'm not going to pull mine out. You already did it. But, it's gorgeous. It's so shiny. I had to keep this away from my other ones. It's like, I don't want it to get hurt. I have to put it over here. Reed once told me this story. I forgot I'd said it. But back when we started dating, I was making him read comics. I was like, well, this is my favorite comic.
Oh, had him read comics?
Oh, well, he'd read some comics, but I definitely forced him into it more. I was like, you have to read more. You haven't read this, read that, And he was, he was an artist. He did art, but I'm like, have you done comics? Because you should, because your art's good for it. So I'll take credit for that. It's good. But I only had the slipcase edition way back when we were dating, and he was just like, because I got it right when it came out.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, oh yeah, I could borrow it. I'm like, no, go get it from the library. You're not touching this. I don't trust you with this. We're not that close yet. Like,
who are you, dude?
How dare you? He still hasn't touched it. I'm like, you don't get to read this. No. He's read it now, but he got it from the library. I made him. I'm like, you have to.
Awesome. I don't blame that. I totally believe that. And if you had let him borrow it, I wouldn't believe that. No, Christine, that you wouldn't let him borrow it.
Yeah, yeah. That may be the only book in my collection I wouldn't just let him borrow. He lives with me now. We're married, so it's fine. But he can borrow all the things. But that's the one book that I wouldn't just give out to someone. I think. I don't know that there's even anything else, but that's the one. And it's also made of the felt, the weird fabric. I got cat hair on it right now. You know what I'm saying? That's just from the air. No one needs to touch that. It's fine right there. So I know that's rare and everybody freaks out about it. Y'all don't need it though. You don't need it for the prices it's going for. Get the paperback. The paperback's good. It'll last you. Or, read it on Hoopla if you haven't. But yeah, you did a great job with it. These stories connect in a way that you don't understand at first. And that was just a nice revelation when you figured all that out. There's a crow that's the crow on the front of it. It's throughout the story. That's my tattoo of the crow. And it's just beautiful. I don't know what else to say about it that you didn't already say. It's beautiful. It's so well done. It gets me every time. It's probably the thing that really, I read comics as a kid, but this is the comic that really pushed me more into just reading comics again, graphic novels and everything. It was the one where it was this is what things can be. Okay, you've opened my eyes and my heart, and now I need it all. So, yeah. That's my story. I love it so much. It's my number one, of course.
And Lloyd Wong brings up a book that I liked and I forgot about, Roughneck. I really like that book, and it's upstairs and I forgot about it. That's a really good book.
I like it. Wouldn't be in my top 10. No,
I guess it's not in my top 10, but I can recommend it. I don't have. This is my number one pick, and I don't have. It's my number one pick, and I don't have the hardcover.
So you have to upgrade. That's the answer. Now after the show, you're like, you have to.
Yeah. Krista did a great job telling you all about it. I could read this book every day for the rest of my life and be happy. This is such a great book. Those little moments with the ghost in there that appears differently to everybody. I hope I didn't spoil it, but it's mostly the little moments that make up these people's lives and how interesting they are. This family, how dysfunctional they are, but they're trying, and I guess I gotta really get the
You have to.
hardcover. That's really lame of me. This guy. I don't know why I have to upgrade everything for Lemire. It's totally worth it.
Those are nice trades. Like they're very thick and they're nice trades, but nothing
but I guess
compares.
mine are going to be on the market pretty soon. As soon as I get the hardcover. Yeah, as soon as I get the hardcover, I will have to put these on the market. But Royal City is my absolute favorite Jeff Lemire.
It's a great pick.
Thank you. So, anything going on in the chat or?
Hayden asked about my shirt. If it's an R2 and BB shirt, it's actually R2 BB and Dio.
Oh, nice! I didn't even notice that.
That's what I'm wearing.
I had to go boring and just put on a Henley shirt because it was cold today. It was really cold.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, it was too cold to walk the dog, and it's got to be really cold for me to not walk that dog. Here, Philip has something nice to say about us, so I'm always about that compliment. You guys are the best. Ordering Black Hammer Library and Underwater Welder hardcover right now. All right,
that's awesome.
Philip, good. Lars feels in his top 3, Roughneck would be there, so that's good.
I'm happy for you.
Opinions, and I love anybody that loves Lemire. So Lars, good on you, as they say. Probably not in your country, but that's cool. So this was our rundown on Lemire. Hopefully you got some ideas. That's really the goal, is to introduce you guys to some books that you may not be aware of, or you're on the fence and you just needed a little push in the direction of getting them. We are pretty big Lemire fans, so this was a fun show to do.
And I guess we may be rereading some soon together.
Yeah. Here's another book that's going to be for sale. Unfortunately, I didn't care for this book.
You could have read it on Hoopla.
Yeah, I should have. It was too dark for me. But he's he does stuff for Valiant too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I haven't read any of that. Have you?
I did. I started a Valiant read through about 3 years ago, and then some tiny crisis that got resolved within a couple days happened, and I got off it and never.
It's that hype train. You got on, and then you just got off of it, right?
Yeah, but I still have all the books. Wait, somebody's mentioning some other book here.
Someone's also trying to buy your Killer Smile. So.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know he wrote this. I've got all these Old Man Logan books.
Oh yeah, I read some of those. I need to go back and read that. Maybe we'll do that sometime.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I own all of them, so that means it's going to get an omnibus. You're welcome out there. Since I have all the trade paperbacks, it's definitely getting an omnibus. I can guarantee it. Oh my gosh, Lemire wrote this and I haven't read it yet? There's like 50 paperbacks of it.
Speaking of omnibus, I loved this. Animal Man, his Animal Man run.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about this too.
That's a great
awesome.
book.
Yeah. I wouldn't have put it in my top 10 because I love his creator-owned stuff more than something like this. But I did love this more than I thought I would. It was very good.
I did too.
And I didn't know anything about Animal Man, so you can jump into that one. Again, it's available on Hoopla. That's out of print, I believe, so sorry, but...
What other books am I forgetting that he wrote? Gosh, he is so prolific.
Writing too much.
I have all those Old Man Logan books, and I forgot it was Lemire. Some Lemire fan I am. I'm a fake. I'm a casual.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Hayden.
I know. I see that. I wasn't gonna highlight it because
we should.
Okay.
Hayden says this is the part where I confess to not having read any Lemire and get banished into exile. No, absolutely not. I think there's a starting point for anyone. And we spread the love around here.
Yeah, where should we have him start? Where do you think a good place for him to start would be then?
I say grab that Essex County paperback. That's what got me into him. And I think it's a great place to start. And it's his, I believe, one of his oldest things, if not the oldest thing that I put in my top 10 that he's done. So from there, you just kind of keep going throughout time. But, I mean, Royal City is also a great pick.
Yeah, that's my favorite book.
Yeah. And those are both like complete and not like crazy long. Underwater Welder's a great one too. I mean, any of these. I think any of these are a great starting point.
We did discuss Moon Knight at the very beginning, Remco, briefly. Yeah, so that the Nobody would be a good book to start with. Sentient he could read easily.
Yeah.
I think Sentient. I guess Sentient would be my pick for somebody to read first because it's got that science fiction-y comic vibe that's still really incredibly intense. So, yeah. Underwater Welder, you could read that. Royal City.
They're all pretty good beginnings, honestly. Like
Sweet Tooth, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't get it at 1 a.m. when she was drunk.
I sure didn't. In fact, I thought about it for over a year because that's what people say you should do before you get a tattoo, and I did. And then I was like, I still want this, so I went. Booked it, road trip for it. Definitely wasn't drunk. I don't drink, actually, so.
I don't either.
There we go.
Yeah, that is a good. That's a good way to end the show on what a good starter book for Lemire would be. So
I really think our top two picks encompass what is best about him, which is the characters.
Yeah.
Those are Essex County and Royal City are two great, books about the character. I mean, they're really all about the characters, right? But Sentient's great, but it is all about the sci-fi element more than anything, right? It is about the characters too, but there's something to be said about his more contemporary kind of stories.
That's true.
Where you just get to dive in and feel things,
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike Upgrade Soul, which I am too afraid to read still.
You will also feel things.
Yeah, I know.
And also feel drained. But we're gonna review that sometime. I'm writing that down. We're definitely gonna do it.
I'm gonna need a partner to read that.
Oh, I would love to read it with you. Also, I've only read it once, and it just has haunted me. So reading it again will be fun for me.
Oxmeat Pete promises that if we get an Old Man Omni, I will handwrite your name in my book credits when I buy it. Okay.
Beautiful.
That is cool. But I'll tell you what else you're going to get omnibus of. Charles Soule's Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, Zdarsky's Peter Parker Spider-Man. I have so many Marvel thin trade paperbacks, which I love. I love reading them in that format. But it's these independent books that are coming out with hardcovers. I also, I got jobbed on, Captain America by Rick Remender. I've actually been bugging Omar for 3 years, or 2 years since he's had that connection. Cap Remender. And he was always like, no. So I hunted down the trade paperbacks and bam!
Every time.
Omnibus.
Like Middle West coming out with the deluxe. Which I'm so excited for. Because you know what I did? I read it on Hoopla.
I get so excited. It was a great book.
I get it.
I wanted to finish it.
Well, hey, the good news is you supported it enough where people are like, those sales are good. There's some guy out there buying all the trades. We'll upgrade it.
All right, I feel good. Now I feel better. That's a good way to end the show then.
Definitely.
Not on the bummer that that Jess is always getting ripped. It's that I support these comics.
And now you can support it again by buying this nice deluxe hardcover.
I don't know when Middle West is coming out. I think it got just.
If it's just announced, you can.
Yeah.
I think you can only find a date on Amazon. I'm not sure it's even solicited yet.
Oh, Zdarsky's Daredevil OHC was announced a month or so ago. Even if you're kidding, I think you're right. I believe you.
Yeah, I think that's real.
I think it is real.
Yeah.
Darn it. Whatever. Okay. Well, OmniCat, what are you and Maddie up to? Are you up to anything tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night?
Saturday, right? Tomorrow night?
Yes. Yes, tomorrow night on the Omnibus Collectors Network, Maddie and I will be talking about our hauls and reads. So, see what we bought, see what we read, have a good time with that. Also, if you want to check out Reed and I, if you like Reed, which you should, because he's great. The Comic Slayer on YouTube is our channel. There are only 2 videos on there, but there are more coming. We've been talking about it. So it's happening. And if you want to check me out on Instagram, that's at the Comic Slayer. Jess finally followed me. It's really just a miracle, and I love it. I'm very happy about it. So.
No, I know, Zach. I know you're 100% correct about that. And you can find me on my channel, OmniDog's Vault, here on YouTube. And I will be posting later tonight on Instagram, OmniDogs_Vault, the scene of the accident.
I love it.
With superheroes standing around not helping. I'll have to pick out a good character to represent me.
Are you going to make little masks for them?
What's that?
Are you going to make little masks for them to represent masks? You're like, no, they'll all be not wearing masks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We all had masks on. This will be me. I'll be Old Man Logan on the ground.
I was going to say some of them may have masks if it's a superhero with a mask.
Yeah, no, I wasn't picking up on that. But yeah, no, yeah. They all had the masks on for the pandemic. Yeah. I don't have any teeny little masks. But I'm definitely going to be, this is me on the ground.
You know, it'd be weird if you had a lot of teeny little masks flying around. I was thinking cut up a tissue and just kind of...
and put them on their face?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Don't do that. Yeah. That's too much for your hand.
Yeah, I want this one to be evergreen, not just for the pandemic. So
it's a good idea.
Thank you to everybody that wait, by the way, Jess, your buddy Uncanny Omar once said in his channel he loves Lemire as a writer, but not as an artist. Omar has never been a fan of his art. That's his taste. Oh, he's.
I don't agree at all, but I mean, there's a lot of people who feel that way. My dad's one of those people, but he loves his writing. So I'm like, you have to read Royal City. Here you go. That's yours. So, that's what I do. I gift him books because he won't buy it because of the art. But then he loves it because of the story.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. It's it's all subjective, but we dig it. This whole show is about how much we love Lemire. So thank you to the chat. Thank you to my beloved OmniCat for being on with me. And you will see me tomorrow at noon on the Omnibros channel. And my reenactment of... I got to find a pink cast. That's what I got to do.
Oh, yeah.
For Old Man Logan.
Get some pink
love, peace and love.
Thanks, guys.